Tuscaloosa to frenzy.
And McClellan, he could go. Burst of speed. Alabama opens the Rashinda Reed era with a victory.
We talked about Alabama.
Alabama reaches the College Cup for the first time.
Heisman Memorial Trophy.
The first soccer championship in school history.
Say Nick's done, Alabama's done, Kobe's goodbye. Here comes Alabama.
Bama's done. It's like, I'm not falling for it. As long as he's still the head coach, put me down for Alabama to bounce back.
What we do, baby?
I think we'll revert back to a lot more physical brand of football.
This team's going to be upset. They're going to be an angry team this year.
It's electric.
The greatest college football coach in the history of the sport.
He's the best to ever do it.
Alabama is superior in every way imaginable. Ain't no mistake about it. 'Cause it's coming.
We're back here in studio for our second episode of the school year. This is TideTV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my co-host Kinsey Hughes. And Kinsey, after watching that, I am really ready for football.
That'll make you run through a brick wall, man. I'm ready to go. It's fall, it's time for football season, and I couldn't be more excited.
Absolutely. Well, the Crimson Tide are entering week 4 of fall camp. Alabama began fall camp on Thursday, August 3rd.
Coach Saban and the Tide finally were back inside Bryant-Denny Stadium this past Saturday for their second scrimmage of fall camp. Let's take an all-access look at the Tide's final scrimmage of fall camp in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Saturday's scrimmage, the team had Sunday and Monday off before returning to the practice field on Tuesday. The team will practice Tuesday through Saturday this week for the final week of fall camp.
That means next week is game week as the Tide will open the season with Middle Tennessee. Let's hear Coach Saban's thoughts after the team's final scrimmage of fall camp in Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday.
You know, everybody wants to have fun, but I don't know what's more fun than winning. And I know that if you don't win, not very much fun. So, and there's a price to pay for winning. There's a price to pay to be a leader. You've heard that on The Last Dance from, Michael Jordan. So, and I think that's probably true with our team or any other team. So hopefully we'll continue to work in that direction. But the execution was a lot better, today. We still have a lot of things that we can improve on at just about every position. And we're going to keep on doing that so that we get these guys ready for, the first game.
Now that's what Coach Saban had to say about the team as a whole, but Roger, did you notice anything there? Maybe he didn't talk about something, left something out?
Maybe the quarterback position, and Kinsey, he was asked about that by the media all the time. Here's what he had to say on Saturday.
They all got to play. They all took snaps. They all completed some passes. They all made some throws that weren't as good as they should have been. And they all got sacked. That's what I saw.
You didn't expect him to announce the starter there, did you, Roger?
I have 5 guesses, but...
Hey, the cake's not out of the oven yet. They're not going to announce who the starter's going to be, but, Roger, it won't be long until we actually see who's going to take the first snap as the Tide opens the season next Saturday here in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Let's take a look at the 2023 schedule for the Crimson Tide, starting with a non-conference matchup for the season opener. Third-ranked Alabama will open the season here at home against Middle Tennessee next Saturday. That game will, of course, kick off at 6:30 on the SEC Network. Then, in Week 2, Alabama gets the return trip from the Texas Longhorns, but it won't be an early one like last year in Austin. This time, the Crimson Tide and the Longhorns will kick off at 6 p.m. on ESPN.
Ready to see those lights, baby? And after the opening season opener with 2 home games, Alabama hits the road for 3 out of their next 4 matchups. The Tide travels to Tampa to take on South Florida on September 16th. That game is scheduled for a 2:30 kickoff on ABC.
Bama returns home the following week to take on Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. Then it's 2 more road trips for the Tide as they take on Mississippi State in Starkville on September 30th and Texas A&M in College Station on October 7th.
Then the Tide returns home with a trio of home games, starting with homecoming against the Arkansas Razorbacks on October 14th. The following weekend, it's the 3rd Saturday in October, baby. Alabama hosts Tennessee on October 21st after the Tide's bye week, the week of Halloween. Alabama then hosts LSU on November 4th, most likely airing on CBS.
Then it's back on the road for 2 out of the final 3 contests. Alabama travels to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats on November 11th. The Tide will be back at home on the 18th for their final home game this season against Chattanooga. And then on Thanksgiving weekend, it's the Iron Bowl. The Tide and the Tigers will face off for the 88th time in series history.
The SEC Championship game will take place at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, as the Eastern and Western Division champions square off for the SEC title on November 3rd at 4 p.m.
Genzie, of course, with all the new freshmen and all the transfers on the team each year, Coach Saban invites the $1 Million Band to come out to practice during fall camp to teach them the fight song. Yay, Alabama!
This is always the coolest moment and a really cool tradition that they have, and hopefully they're going to be singing this song a lot after every home game this year. They've got to know the words, man.
Yes, they do. Best fight song in the country. Let's go all access with Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide, along with the $1 Million Band.
That what you do encourages tremendous spirit from the fans, which I know that our players certainly appreciate. I can't thank you enough for that. I know that you all are going to come over today, some of you repeat players. The tradition that we have of singing the fight song when we win a game, and count the number of points that we scored. That's an important part of what we do, and you certainly contribute to that, and we thank you for that.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Your favorite atmosphere in college football?
To me, obviously, there's nothing like a huge game on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Bryant-Denny Stadium.
The chase is on, and it will be won by Julio Jones.
It is perfect football weather in Tuscaloosa.
This will be a 100-yard scoop and score.
I'm telling you, this place is rocking right now at Bryant-Denny.
If you're looking to visit this stadium. They got it figured out here.
We are talking about Nick Saban, the greatest coach in the history of college football.
They're going to be an angry team this year, is my belief.
It's more than a buzz at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's electric. Here comes the Tide.
TideTV This Week. The 2023 football season is here, and several teams open their season this weekend, but the Tide opens their season next Saturday here at home.
Last week on the show, we previewed this year's offense with offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. This week, we take a look at the other side of the ball. Our Christopher England joins us now for a preview of the 2023 version of the Crimson Tide's defense.
Just like on offense, there's a new coordinator this season for the Alabama defense, but he is no stranger to Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide. The defensive coordinator on Coach Saban's initial staff at Alabama back in 2007, Kevin Steele now returns to the Crimson Tide for the third time in his career.
The Alabama way of defensive football under Coach Saban is that we want to be relentless. Relentless in our effort, relentless in our physicality. When it comes to physicality in football, that's a mindset. That's not something you put on in the locker room. You've got to practice that way. It's got to be in your DNA. You can't go in your locker and put toughness on. It's not in there. It's our job as coaches that we create that mindset. That's it. We create practice situations where physical and mental toughness is just natural for an Alabama football player. Strike good! We have good players here, and they are very coachable. They're very committed to what the process that Coach Saban has in place. And it's a matter of us just making sure that we coach those guys to be the very best they can be, because we have a chance to be very, very good. Strike! In terms of the transition of coming back and being with Coach Saban, that may be the reason that I'm here, and that everybody knows that Coach Saban is a genius as defensive football. That's been one of the secret ingredients to his success. This is not a program, never has been a program, where you come in as a coordinator and you do what you want to do. It's the Alabama Coach Saban process and system. And it's always easier if you've been exposed to that before. We have a very, very smart defensive staff room. Coleman Hustler, Tavares Robinson, those two guys are brilliantly smart, hardworking, just really, really good football coaches. Robert Bala is the new guy, and he is a bright young football mind that really jumped in like he'd been here forever.
Boom, I'm gonna lock him out. Reverse it, Quinn. I'm locking him out right here.
And of course, Freddie's been around Alabama for, you could call him, he is Alabama. He's the typical defensive line coach that can take him in the room, get him physical, teach him how to play with 300 pounds on each ear. That's a hard job, and he's very good at it.
Why did Coach Steele decide to return to Alabama for a third time? His answer was, it's simple. The University of Alabama and the history of the Crimson Tide, to be able to work alongside the best that's ever done it in Coach Saban, and the players here are committed to excellence, and for him, it's fun to coach guys like that. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV This Week coming up next.
Your favorite atmosphere in college football?
To me, obviously, there's nothing like a huge game on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Bryant-Denny Stadium.
The chase is on, and it will be won by Julio Jones.
It is perfect football weather in Tuscaloosa.
This will be a 100-yard scoop and score.
I'm telling you, this place is rocking right now at Bryant-Denny.
If you're looking to visit this stadium. They got it figured out here.
We are talking about Nick Saban, the greatest coach in the history of college football.
They're going to be an angry team this year, is my belief.
It's more than a buzz at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's electric. Here comes the Tide.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. We have a new series for you that takes you inside the Alabama football program. The Council takes you behind the scenes with Alabama's football's leaders who try to carry on the tradition of the Crimson Tide.
Running backs Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams continue to set a great example of what it means to be a part of the Crimson Tide. To watch the full episodes and the entire series, go to the University of Alabama Athletics official social media channels or RolledTide.com/The Council.
Here's a preview of episode 1. It's brought to you by Poetry Finance.
How have you seen Jace and Roydell continue to establish themselves as leaders in the running back room, and what is the next step in each of their developments?
You know, Jace has been a really good leader. Roydell has always, set a really good example. He's a good special teams player as well as a good runner. Jace has really stepped up and set a good example, and I like all those guys. I think they all have great attitude, and I think that's one of the strongest positions from a depth standpoint on our team.
Growing up in Texas, everything's about football. Like, since I was like 4 years old, I grew up playing football. In high school, it's like everything you expect. The bright lights, big crowd. Everybody want to come to the game on Friday. That's what everybody talks about during the week.
Town is a great place, great people. It's a great community. It was just being close to home, man. I wanted to come win. In the running back room, we had Naj, we had B-Rob, we had Mack in the quarterback room, Devontae, Waddle. There was a lot of great guys here that set the standard. As I came in as a freshman, it was like, okay, here's what it looks like. This is what I need to do. Want to work, want to come here every day, want to be one of the greats.
I know these guys are going to develop me to the best person I can be, character-wise, player-wise. So that's why I ultimately came here.
Now two running backs, Robinson and McClellan. McClellan gets the handoff. He'll go left.
I got hit in my foot. I was right on the sideline, so I crawled off. It was telling me to get up, and I got up. I was standing. I knew something was wrong. It really felt like I just bruised my knee. They told me in the back, I tore my ACL.
When I saw him go down in the Ole Miss game, it was like, it's time. It's go time now. We go over it in practice. We go in the meeting room. When one guy down, another guy's up. You always stay intact. Always stay focused. Stay into the game. You never know when your number is called.
From their own 8-yard line, here's the snap, here's the give. Running room, Roydell Williams. He'll get a first down out to the 19-yard line.
He made a cut, and he fell. And I didn't think it was like ACL either, but I seen him hold his knee. And I was praying that it wasn't, but then they came back and he told me he did the same thing.
We had an inside zone play. Saw green gas as I bursted, tried to make an upfield cut, pop, pop, pop. Never had an injury like that happen, and it was like, didn't feel right. They had to cart me off and kind of start from scratch.
Your favorite atmosphere in college football?
To me, obviously, there's nothing like a huge game on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Bryant-Denny Stadium.
The chase is on, and it will be won by Julio Jones.
It is perfect football weather in Tuscaloosa.
This will be a 100-yard scoop and score.
I'm telling you, this place is rocking right now at Bryant-Denny.
If you're looking to visit this stadium. They got it figured out here.
We are talking about Nick Saban, the greatest coach in the history of college football.
They're going to be an angry team this year, is my belief.
It's more than a buzz at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's electric. Here comes the Tide.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The Alabama soccer team opened up their season with a couple of matches this past week.
Crimson Tide played a couple of non-conference matchups against DePaul and UAB to open the year.
For a recap of the Tide season opening weekend, our Delaney Jones joins us now. Delaney?
Alabama soccer is off to an impressive 2-0 start after its opening weekend. The Tide kicked off their season against DePaul at home on Thursday, then were on the road against UAB in Birmingham on Sunday. Sophomore forward Gianna Paul scored the first goal of the season for the Tide early on in the first 5 minutes of the game with the assist from Tana Sanchez-Corretto. Then, right before the half, Nadia Ramadan passed it to Isabel Smith, who set up the goal for senior transfer Itala Gemelli with this beautiful shot to the bottom corner of the net. That would make it a 2-0 win for the Tide in their season debut. On the road in Birmingham, it was a scoreless game until the 79th minute. Senior Kate Henderson stepped up and scored the only goal of the game with an assist from Mariana Inest. The Tide would go home with a 1-0 shutout victory over UAB. Alabama soccer will return home to take on Memphis Sunday at 7 on SEC Network Plus.
Thank you, Delaney. The Alabama volleyball team is officially opening their season this weekend here in Tuscaloosa. The Tide will host the Crimson Tide Invitational this Friday and Saturday at Foster Auditorium.
Rashinda Reed's squad hosted North Alabama this past Saturday for an exhibition.
Let's take an all-access look at the highlights.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Your favorite atmosphere in college football?
To me, obviously, there's nothing like a huge game on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Bryant-Denny Stadium.
The chase is on, and it will be won by Julio Jones.
It is perfect football weather in Tuscaloosa.
This will be a 100-yard scoop and score.
I'm telling you, this place is rocking right now at Bryant-Denny.
If you're looking to visit this stadium. They got it figured out here.
We are talking about Nick Saban, the greatest coach in the history of college football.
They're going to be an angry team this year, is my belief.
It's more than a buzz at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's electric. Here comes the Tide.
Paul, she's got a look. Paul fires a shot and that gets in. The Tide wastes no time as Gianna Paul scores the first goal of the season. Ball ahead for Gemelli. Gemelli gets it in. The transfer gives Alabama a second goal late in the first half.
This will be headed around as Alabama with a good look as that will go into the goal as Alabama cracks the scoreboard. And Alabama will hold on for a 1-0 victory here in the Magic City.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Those were our Plays of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week.
And we have one this week, and that's really all we need because Alabama men's golfer Nick Dunlap won the 123rd U.S. Amateur Championship. Dunlap becomes just the second Crimson Tide golfer to win the tournament, joining Jerry Pate, who won the Amateur Championship back in 1974.
Dunlap also becomes just the second golfer in history to win both the U.S. Junior Amateur and the U.S. Amateur Championship. The other was Tiger Woods. So Jerry Pate and Tiger Woods, that's some pretty good company to keep, Roger.
Indeed, Kenzie, and he is only a sophomore. Congratulations to Nick. History made, that's quite the honor.
Jared Pate and Tiger Woods is like the best company you can be in if you're a golfer, so it sounds good to me, man.
Absolutely. Again, only a sophomore. He's competing in the Walker Cup coming up this week in Scotland. It's pretty exciting.
Super excited for his future and to see how he does. And it was another great week, Roger, and guess what? It's game week for Alabama football, baby.
We will certainly preview the Tide's opener with Middle Tennessee and much more on next week's show.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week for another episode of Tide TV This Week.
See you next week, everyone. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,